Hey, what's up, PracTacular Home? How you doing? Hey, my Monday morning, just rolled into the shop, and let's see if we can get a new week rolling here together. Thought I'd just share a little bit as I was reflecting over the weekend about the first 4 episodes of this new vlog thing that I'm trying out, and just came up with some cool things. Let me show you the beauty shop though. Actual shot of the entire shop while we're out here too. We got a little sunshine and weather patterns changing. By the way, I live at 8,000 feet. Top of that mountain right back there is 10,000 feet plus. And so we live in a high altitude deal, but here's the shop. Boom, ta-da, ta-da. All right, so everything from here to there is the front half of the shop. This is our CTE 1 area, so our level 1 crew and teaching area. And then this roll up door is where we got our tiny house 1 build going on, and our CNC machines in that side. And if you go around the corner over there, that's the roll up door going into the weld shop and steel fab shop. So it's a beautiful thing. It's been remodeled a couple years ago, so looking pretty sharp. But that's the shop. Let's head inside. Okay, so reflecting on the first 4 episodes. Was doing some more research on this whole idea of shooting kind of a long form, horizontal format, and posting in longer videos. And I kind of like this idea. Here's kind of the strategy or the thought. With YouTube being key, I need to get the key out of the door. Being now one of the top streaming platforms on the TV. Okay, so smart TVs, everything else. Hey, look what's gonna happen. Door's gonna close and we're gonna go dark. Cross, turn on the lights. So YouTube being one of the #1 streaming platforms, here's the idea, man. If you are producing something that's interesting and fun to watch and informative, but you're putting it in the long format situation, you kind of think of it like a reality TV show or just a good program that people want to watch, and just, again, sit down on a comfortable, I'm going to the other side of the shop, that's why it's dark, comfortable program, sit back in a comfortable chair, have a snack, and watch your content. Now I gotta be real careful because I'm walking in the dark and finding the light switch. Almost there. There it is. And so that really intrigued me, because what we do here in the shop with all the students, man, there's so much going on. I teach 3 periods a day, 58 minutes each. Every single period is different because there's different students that show up. But the stuff that I'm teaching, I want to try to move in and figure out a way to make it interesting and informative for you, while still just kind of using my day-to-day deal here in the shop to bring you good information. So that's kind of where I'm going to go. I'm going to keep working on my techniques and the information that I'm getting and giving, and my hope is as we get to know each other better through some long format, just sit back, relax, and see what's going on. You'll give me feedback and you'll send me some comments and say, hey, man, can you really cover this? Or I didn't really understand what that was. Or, hey, why don't you try showing us something about this? Or I saw something in the background and I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is. I don't know. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, drop it into the comments and we'll see how we go. So we're back at it. This is my thoughts. I gotta get some prep work done, so we'll pick you up after class is done. See you then. So first off, you're gonna notice that there are color-coded doors are clipped, and so when I pull that down, that releases the wire from the back of the receptacle, and this is a beautiful invention to where I can just simply slide the wire in until it stops, hold it, drop the lever, wire is secured. Super fast, efficient, safe. I literally taught this morning a few hours ago, and within 10 minutes, I had 9 students, and then another group of 10 students master this quick little technique of stripping the wire to the right length, and then simply following a color code, white to white, black to black, brass to green or green to ground. That's our ground wire. So that's how we're going to memorize that. Ground to green, click, voila. Loving these new technology.
Okay, so just like any new technology, it's always good to say, hey, where did it come from and what are we thinking about? Well, here it is. So the company that developed this is the Leviton company. They've been in electrical components for years and years, and this new feature allows us to get a electrically compliant fixture based on our electrical codes, and so perfect. And it's also UL rated, so National Electric Code plus the UL. We can use these safely and to code in all of our residential, both new construction and remodels, so that's good to know. What else do we know? The key features, here's some other good ones. Requires from a tamper-resistant receptacle, and so a new code that came out a few years ago is that within the receptacle, in those open areas where people can stick knives and forks and paper clips and little baby toys, and again, really unsafe, and that's why we used to have to put those cover plugs to child-proof our homes, and because it was dangerous. Well, again, now it says the tamper-proof section is already built into the actual receptacle. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's no way to actually push something into those two connection points that are carrying both the load and the neutral. Very nice, tamper-proof, plus the cool little lever system. I'm a big fan, and we're going to use this throughout our entire kitchen wall build. So we'll see a bunch of them go in because every single crew is going to have to install 2 switches, 2 electrical plugs, and make it all switchable and work. And so we're going to be using this new technology and helping us to get there. What else we got? The safety standards, there's the codes, the UL code 49E, as well as the CSA 22.2. So we can look those up and know that we have our code compliant, tamper resistant. Here's one of my favorites, the color-coded levers. Color-coded levers. So old school, here's what it looked like. And we had to teach, okay, a little bit of green color right there, so that was helpful. So the ground wire goes to the green wire, super good. Then we've got just these little plugs, or excuse me, these screw tops, right? So we've got one that looks like brass, you've got another one that looks kind of chrome, and then you'd have to memorize black to brass and then white to chrome. So there's a little bit of difficulty in memorization, and the challenge is if you get any of those confused or mixed up, it's going to be miswired, it's dangerous, it's going to pop a circuit and kind of scare you. And so working with a very clear code system, man, brown wire goes to green, black goes to black, white goes to white. Whew, super good. Not one of these students, 12 students today, nobody, no wait, 12 plus, yeah, 10, 22 students, every single one of them wired it correctly the first time. The majority of them never even have touched electrical wires or know what Romex is. So good test right here with live students today. So I'm excited to move from here to our next step, and that is where we're heading next. Last but not least, there is no exposed metal or parts. Super huge. Okay. Again, old school. All of the heads of these screws, all of that exposed metal. Anytime one of these wires would fold back and accidentally connect with, as this thing's being forced and pushed into a junction box, so many opportunities for this to cross wire and short circuit. Look at the difference. There is not one piece of metal exposed along any of these terminals, so there's no way that's going to fold back and have any way to make contact metal to electrical wire. Super sweet. So thank you for engineers and developers putting this together so that we have a safer, more efficient, easier way to wire. And last but not least, the thing we have to learn is how to actually strip the wire back off the insulation. And so I taught on this little reset process. Okay. Pretty straightforward. I'll do it right here for you. There is our white neutral wire, and it has a plastic coating on it, which is the insulation. What we wanted to do is strip that insulation back 1/2 of an inch from the tip to here, and that allows us to slip through right into our clip connections and makes it the correct connection. So all we got to do is we're going to use our tool and we're going to measure the top here. I put little markers. That gives us a 1/2 of an inch. That gives us 3/4 of an inch. And so we do this. We put it flush to the right-hand side. I hold it on the left-hand side with my finger and thumb. Then I'm going to open the tool. This happens to be 14 gauge wire. So we're going to slide that into the 14 gauge notch. I hold it perpendicular to the wire, squeeze, and then I'm going to hold the wire here and just push with my thumb. Push. Voila. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay? Now we can bring this over to our new and improved lever connection system. Slip that right in, lock it in, give it the pull test. Voila. Lock and load. What was that? Less than 10 seconds. Whew. That's sweet. So, super excited. We'll see how the students do as we progress through our rough electrical, but it is going to be a whole lot nicer to use lever type connections and new technology in the electrical world. Last but not least, here's where we're going tomorrow. We're going to come over here and we've got our electrical practice boards set up here. So we'll break the teams, the crews into 4 crews, and that will allow us to bring them over and give them the components for a switch. Is going to go, no, the receptacle goes down here, the switch leg comes into here, and so we'll be testing receptacles plus switches and letting them practice to get familiar with this process of pulling, stripping, connecting, testing, and then ultimately folding the wires back into the junction box, install the receptacle or the switch into the box, and then trimming it out with a cover plate so that there's no possible way for fingers, toes, anything to get into our electrical. That is how residential electrical works. And stay tuned, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for staying with me. We'll talk to you soon.